Welcome back, and today we are diving into films where skin was everywhere. In fact, those films can be called real skin films. Nine Songs, 2004. Nine Songs was one of the most polarizing films of the 2000s. It was directed by Michael Winterbottom. This British art house flick turned heads by blending unsimulated scenes with live concert footage, creating a raw, unfiltered portrait of a summer romance. The story follows Matt, a glaciologist, as he reminisces about his passionate affair with Lisa, an American exchange student in London. Their relationship unfolds through nine live music performances by bands like Franz Ferdinand, Primal Scream, and Super Furry Animals, each song mirroring a stage of their intense, fleeting connection. Think drugs, rock and roll, and zero plot, just raw, unscripted intimacy set to an indie rock soundtrack. Critics called it everything from high art to exceedingly boring, praising its realism but panning its lack of narrative. Yet Nine Songs remains unforgettable for its audacity. Explicit scenes so real they feel like a voyeuristic peek into a real relationship, juxtaposed with the energy of live gigs. Love it or hate it, this film pushed boundaries and cemented Winterbottom's reputation as a provocateur. Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights was the wild, neon-drenched masterpiece that takes you straight into the heart of the 70s adult film industry. Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, this movie isn't just a nostalgic trip. It's a raw, unflinching look at the rise and fall of an era, from the scrappy, anything-goes days of the 70s to the cocaine-fueled chaos of the Reagan years. What makes it so unforgettable? For starters, the cast is a mind-blowing mix of real-life adult film legends like Veronica Hart and Nina Hartley, alongside Oscar-caliber actors like Julianne Moore and Heather Graham, who delivered career-defining performances that blurred the line between art and exploitation. The dialogue? Pure gold. Think improvised chaos, lines like, "Let's go get some of that Saturday Night Beaver," and a behind-the-scenes vibe so authentic you'll swear you're on set. But here's the kicker. While some real performers from the era praised its gritty realism, others called it aqua da, kangda, exaggeration. Yet it still became a cult classic that redefined indie filmmaking. The film's most haunting moment? A line that cuts straight to the soul. "You know what I'm staring at? I'm staring at the foreign, sorry, as Kurdan the whole world." It's a gut punch, a reminder of how this industry chewed people up and spit them out. So whether you're a cinephile, a 70s junkie, or just curious about the wild side of Hollywood history, Boogie Nights is a must-watch. In the Realm of the Senses, 1976. Let's dive into one of the most controversial films ever made. In the Realm of the Senses, it was directed by Nagisa Oshima. Based on the true story of Sada Abe, a former prostitute in 1930s Japan, this film shocked audiences with its unflinching portrayal of obsession and violence. Starring Aiko Matsuda and Tatsuya Fuji, the movie follows Sada's torrid affair with her employer, Kichizo Ishida, which spirals into a deadly obsession culminating in his murder and the infamous act of severing his penis. What makes this film so notorious? For starters, Oshima used unsimulated scenes, blurring the line between art and pornography. The result is a visceral exploration of desire, power, and societal repression set against Japan's militaristic backdrop. While critics praised its boldness, many countries banned it outright, including Australia and the UK, where censors deemed it indecent or obscene. Even in Japan, the film faced obscenity charges, though Oshima famously argued, "Nothing that is expressed is obscene. What is obscene is what is hidden." Nymphomaniac Volume 1. Nymphomaniac. Volume 1, directed by Lars von Trier, is a provocative exploration of desire. The film follows Jo, a self-diagnosed nymphomaniac played by Charlotte Gainsbourg, as she recounts her life journey to a stranger, Seligman. The movie is known for its explicit content, featuring graphic scenes that push the boundaries of mainstream cinema. While the film uses body doubles for penetrative scenes, the explicit nature of the content remains a focal point, drawing attention to the raw and unfiltered portrayal of human sexuality. Divided into chapters, the narrative weaves through Jo's experiences, from her adolescence to adulthood, exploring themes of addiction, power dynamics, and societal taboos. The film's steamy side is not just about shock value. It delves into the complexities of desire, challenging viewers to confront their own perceptions of intimacy. Despite its controversial subject matter, Nymphomaniac, Volume 1 received critical acclaim for its bold storytelling and powerful performances, solidifying von Trier's reputation as a visionary director. Shortbus, 2006. Shortbus was the boundary-pushing dramedy from John Cameron Mitchell. This cult hit follows a group of New Yorkers navigating love, sex, and identity, all orbiting around an underground club where inhibitions vanish, literally. Imagine a Brooklyn salon where threesomes, orgies, and explicit acts unfold freely, all set to indie rock anthems. Mitchell uses unsimulated scenes not for shock value, but to explore intimacy and vulnerability. The cast, including P.J. Deering and Sookyun Lee, bears it all, both physically and emotionally, acceptance and connection. Think a threesome involving a therapist, a dominatrix discovering her own desires, and a gay couple reigniting their passion. Critics called it the most sexually graphic American film outside. But Mitchell's vision is deeper than skin deep. As he told IndieWire, "This is our music in us," using it as a medium to dissect human emotion. The film's boldness divided audiences. Some praised its honesty, others squirmed at the explicitness. Blue is the Warmest Color. Blue is the Warmest Color, directed by Abdelatif Kechiche, is a polarizing film that delves into the passionate yet turbulent relationship between Adele and Emma, two young French women navigating love, identity, and desire. The movie sparked controversy for its explicit scenes, which were both celebrated for their raw authenticity and criticized for their intensity. Critics and audiences debated whether the film's portrayal of female relationship felt empowering or exploitative. The film's 3-hour runtime allows for a deep dive into Adele's emotional journey, from her awkward teenage years to her evolving self-discovery. While praised for its performances and Cannes Film Festival win, behind-the-scenes reports of harsh working conditions and improvisational methods drew backlash from the cast. Despite these tensions, Blue is the Warmest Color remains a landmark in cinema, offering a visceral, unflinching look at desire and heartbreak that resonates far beyond its explicit scenes. Lie With Me, 2005. Lie With Me was the provocative Canadian drama from director Clément Vergo. It was based on Tamara Faith Berger's 2001 novel. This steamy, no-holds-barred film follows Layla, a free-spirited young woman obsessed with fleeting, intense encounters with strangers. When she meets David, a musician who challenges her to push her boundaries even further, their relationship spirals into a whirlwind of passion and self-discovery. Vergo's direction is unflinching, focusing on raw, unsimulated scenes that feel less like titillation and more like an exploration of human connection. The result is a visceral, often uncomfortable look at desire, intimacy, and the consequences of living in the moment. Think extended, explicit encounters set against a moody indie soundtrack, all while the characters grapple with themes of vulnerability and emotional detachment. Critics praise the film's boldness, with the New York Times calling it a daring, if uneven, foray into the erotics of power dynamics. But it's not for the faint of heart. Lie With Me is a gritty, unromanticized dive into the risks of unchecked passion. As Layla warns early on, careful, once this starts, there's no going back. Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens, no list of bold cinema would be complete without Russ Meyer, the rural Fellini, who redefined exploitation films with his larger-than-life goddesses and over-the-top humor. Meyer's films like Beyond the Valley of the Dolls in 1970 and Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens in 1979 pushed boundaries with their explicit content and campy charm. Ultra Vixens, a playful nod to Meyer's earlier hit, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, stars Kitten Natividad as a therapist navigating surreal, not safe for work escapades. The film is a riot of exaggerated dialogue, slapstick humor, and Meyer's signature jiggle factor, blending titillation with absurdity. Meyer's knack for blending satire cemented his legacy as a cult icon, proving that camp and controversy could coexist in the drive-in era. His films remain a wild, unforgettable ride for anyone craving bold, unapologetic cinema. H.O.T.S. 1979. Hey everyone, let's rewind to 1979 and dive into H.O.T.S., a cult gem from director George B. Seitz Jr. that's equal parts raunchy and ridiculous. This drive-in darling follows a group of college girls who form a raunchy sorority with a cast packed with eye-catching models, including Sandy Johnson, the scream queen from. The film's charm lies in its shameless blend of over-the-top humor and gratuitous nudity, delivered with a wink and a nod. Think absurd dialogue, slapstick gags, and scenes so campy they're practically a parody, even though it was played straight back then. Despite its explicit content, H.O.T.S. never veers into sleazy territory. Instead, it's a lighthearted ode to 70s comedies that's more laugh out loud than titillating. Love it or hate it, this flick's a time capsule of drive-in escapism, proving that sometimes a little cheese goes a long way. Porky's, 1981. If comedies had a Mount Rushmore, Porky's would definitely carve out a spot. Directed by Bob Clark, this 1981 raunchy hit became a cultural phenomenon. A group of teens on a mission to lose their virginity, packed with cringe-worthy gags and iconic moments. Remember the locker room scene where the guys spy on girls showering? Yep, that's here. Complete with both male and female, a classic. But Porky's isn't just about TNA. Kim Cattrall steals the show as the sultry Miss Honeywell, whose over-the-top scene became legendary on VHS. While the film touches on serious themes, its vibe is pure, unapologetic comedy. Think bathroom humor, hijinks at a seedy roadhouse, and a pie-eating contest that's definitely not about pie. Showgirls. Let's rewind to the wild 90s, when erotic thrillers ruled the box office, and Showgirls stood out as the wildest of them all. Directed by Paul Verhoeven, this NC-17 bombshell followed Nomi Malone, a small-town girl chasing stardom in Las Vegas. Berkeley, fresh off, Saved by the Bell, dove headfirst into the role, embracing explicit scenes and full frontal nudity that became infamous overnight. A steamy, no-holds-barred encounter between Berkeley and co-star Kyle MacLachlan, which cemented Showgirls as a cult legend. Despite its Razzie Awards and polarizing reception, Showgirls thrived on its unapologetic excess, blending campy dialogue with a neon-lit critique of Hollywood's seedy underbelly. Berkeley's bold performance, while criticized by some, remains a testament to her commitment to shedding her TV image. Today, the film is celebrated as a so-bad-it's-good masterpiece, best enjoyed in its full, uncensored glory. Love it or hate it, Showgirls is a train wreck you can't look away from. Eyes wide shut. Released in 1999, this psychological drama starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman shocked audiences with its explicit content, leading to digital censorship to secure an R rating. Today, the uncut version is available on home video, but it's still a challenging watch. Kubrick's signature is all over this film: meticulous set design, haunting visuals, and a story that peels back the layers of desire and deception in a marriage. While the film features nudity and surreal scenes, it's not about titillation. It's a deep dive into jealousy, vulnerability, and the mask we wear. Lines like, "What is going to happen to that woman? And no one can change her fate now," underscore its eerie, existential tone. Despite mixed reviews, Eyes Wide Shut has cemented its cult status as a haunting exploration of human intimacy. It's a film that demands patience, but rewards viewers with Kubrick's unforgettable artistry. If you're a fan of psychological thrillers or cinematic legends, this one's a must-watch. Caligula. If you think streaming services like Netflix invented historical dramas disguised as a... Think again. Let's rewind to 1979 and meet Caligula, a cult classic so wild it'd make today's shows blush. Produced by Penthouse Magazine's Bob Guccione, written by Gore Vidal, and directed by Italy's Tinto Brass, Caligula is a chaotic blend of violence and surreal style. Starring Helen Mirren as Caligula's wife, Caesonia, Malcolm McDowell as the infamous Roman emperor, and Peter O'Toole, The film shocked audiences with its explicit content, much of which was added post-production by Guccione, who hired performers for hardcore scenes without the main cast's involvement. Lines like, "Chus, you're not having any fun. Enjoy yourself," epitomize its debauched tone, while the film's notorious reputation only grew with its multiple cuts, some unwatchable, others oddly artistic. The Dreamers. Let's rewind to 2003 and dive into The Dreamers, a film that cemented director Bernardo Bertolucci's reputation for pushing boundaries. Already a provocateur from his 1972 masterpiece, Last Tango in Paris, Bertolucci delivered another shocker with this tale of taboo desires set against the Parisian riots of May 1968. Starring Eva Green, Michael Pitt, and Louis Garrel, the film blends political unrest with a love triangle so intense it blurs the lines between passion and incestuous tension. Green's scenes, alongside Pitt and Garrel's chemistry, became the talk of the town, though the film's real power lies in its exploration of youth, rebellion, and the masks we wear during upheaval. Lines like, "And I look at you and I listen to you and I think you're never going to grow," underscore its raw, claustrophobic energy. While critics debated its mix of art and exploitation, The Dreamers remains a mesmerizing study of desire and idealism colliding in turbulent times.